Thanks for coming to Move's second nutritional workshop. So the Nutritional Lifestyle Challenge 2.0. I'm just going to make this short and quick. This is my buddy Eric. I went to college with him. We had the same degree in nutrition. He is taking it a step further. He is now certified in precision nutrition. And he just got that last night. He's been studying for a long time. So it's a pretty legitimate certification. It requires a lot of study time and a pretty rigorous test. So he knows what he's talking about, and he's applied a lot of those new principles that he's learned into this 2.0. So without further ado, Eric.
All right, guys. So I don't want to make this like a lecture. All right, this is going to have a lot of involvement with you guys. So kind of the more feedback you guys give, kind of the more information I'm going to have. All right, I have set stuff that I'm going to talk about, but for the most part, like this is your guys' workshop. Okay, what you guys ask is what you're going to get out of it. Okay, so the same thing with the challenge we can talk about later. Okay, so just to give you a little background on myself, I moved here originally from St. Louis. I was stationed in Fort Hood. I was in the Army. I'm still in the Army now. And then I went to college with Jared, and we got our degrees in nutrition. But that doesn't, all that certifications and stuff doesn't really matter, right? It all matters on how I've actually applied nutrition in my life. So the way I've actually done that is it started a long time ago when I was actually a wrestler in high school. I was overweight, and the only reason I even wanted to wrestle was because I knew it was a hard workout and it was going to be able to make me lose weight, basically. With that, I lost a lot of weight, but also developed some bad habits as far as like eating habits. It also kind of developed a little bit of body dysmorphia, mostly just because I was worried about my weight as on a scale, right? So, because we were in weight classes. So we were pressured to get to a certain weight class so that you can perform better, all right? So with that, once I joined the military, I kind of took that a different manner and went into kind of more of the bodybuilding or the like kind of isometric type of training where I just lifted a bunch, took a bunch of supplements, things like that. So my body went in a different route, right? So I went from leaning down quite a bit to bulking up in a manner that wasn't necessarily healthy as well. Okay, so I was taking lots of supplements and things like that. So went to college. We got some knowledge on basically and how to eat properly. But with that, I think the best thing that we got out of it was basically being taught how to read research. Because I would say that, and Jared, you tell me if this is true, most of my knowledge now has become afterwards, after my degree versus while I was in. Sure. It gave me sort of the tools, but it didn't really give me what I needed in order to talk to you guys or to actually like educate myself on how to actually eat properly. Okay, but they did give a great class on how to debunk research and things like that. That's what brings me here today. Along with that, I've tested out different diets on how they've affected my body, and then also I've talked with many people about how that other things like the fad diets have affected them as well. So basically, with that being said, what I'm going to talk about today, guys, we're going to just talk about the traditional Western diet. Okay, so what the traditional Americans eat, why that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay, and then what we can do to kind of improve that and then move forward into what the challenge is about. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do, guys, is we're just going to talk about. I want you to list out what a typical day would look like. All right. So we'll do breakfast, and if you can't read my writing, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll just say it out loud so that you can hear it. Snack, lunch, and we'll say snack again, and dinner. All right, so what I want is, I want you guys to give me a typical breakfast for any American, really. Not necessarily you guys, because you guys all work out and you guys have a different mindset about what to eat, but what is a typical breakfast for the average American?
Cereal, orange juice.
Cereal and orange juice, okay? Cereal, OJ, right? With this, I'm sure they're going to have some kind of milk, right?
Captain Crunch.
Milk. Probably pretty standard. We'll just say if they don't have coffee. We'll just keep it real, okay? All right, so pretty typical, right? It's fast, it's easy, right? Something they get, something they're buying, okay? They go throughout their day. All right, they hit a snack mid-afternoon or mid-morning, basically. What do you think they're going to have for a snack?
Granola bar?
Granola bar, okay. Good. Anything else?
Or nothing.
Or nothing. They may not have a snack at all, right? This is just kind of, you can probably just base this off of how many times I eat a day, so that's what I did. All right, so lunch. Huh?
Yeah, sandwich.
Sandwich, Subway. We'll just say Subway sandwich, right? All right. Another snack, maybe. All right.
Brownie.
What's that?
Cookie. Or
Cookie.
brownie.
I think that really cookie.
Chips.
Chips.
Yeah.
We'll just say
I
chips.
do.
Or cookie. Okay. Dinner.
Pizza.
Bodies. Pasta.
Pasta. It's pretty typical, right? Probably like, pasta. We'll even say they have a dinner salad as well, so pasta. Okay, so that's some noodles, maybe some meat sauce. Okay, and then
Throw some garlic bread in there.
garlic bread. And then what else we got? Maybe a dinner salad. Okay. Okay, for luck. Okay. So now what we want to do is want to break this down. Okay. What I mean by break it down is in macros. Okay. So with protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Right. So let's look at breakfast. What's it look like? Protein, carbohydrates, and fat.
You got some carbs with the
Got
cereal.
some carbs probably, right, with the cereal.
And OJ.
And OJ. Okay, we got a mixture here in the milk with dairy, so you got protein, carbohydrate, and fat, depending on what they have. Okay, so still, right, what we've already said is we've got a little bit more carbohydrate than anything in that breakfast, right? Okay, so we'll just say carbs. All right, snack, granola. Carbs. Okay. Take protein, smaller, fat. Okay. Subway sandwich, mixture of depending on how much meat they put on there, right? So you got the 2 pieces of bread, which you got carbs. You just put it like a sandwich. You got carbs, right? And then you've got protein. And depending on what they put on it, maybe a little bit of fat. Okay? Just like that. All right, snack, chips, and or cookie.
Carbs and fat.
Carbs and fat. Okay, and then dinner. Carbs.
A little bit of protein.
A little bit of protein. Okay, so pasta, we're going to say carbs. Garlic bread, definitely carbs. Okay, meat sauce, we got some protein, and then some fat in there. All right, dinner salad, still carbs, but. All right, cool, typical, right? Let me see if I got something in my bag that's pretty similar to this. I brought goodies this time. You guys did put some of the things on here, so I'm just going to say, all right, here's cereal. So you guys can see, just pass it around. I want you just to look, I don't want you guys looking at the nutritional label, I want you guys looking more so at the actual ingredients themselves, okay? All right. Do that out for later. Cool. All right. So we've got this. That's the only one I brought that you guys didn't bring on here. I thought maybe somebody would have said like Caesar salad, but we can bring that up here in a second. All right. So typical Western diet, right? So we'll just leave this here. And I'm going to erase this. And then since we're in Austin and we're all gluten free, right?
100%.
100%, right? So okay. So now let's go gluten free. What's a typical gluten-free diet?
Eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon, okay. Okay, I was also thinking maybe if we're still going with something fast, maybe like a yogurt. Now I'm also leading to the things that I brought too, by the way. So we'll go with yogurt. Okay, what do people usually put in their yogurt?
Fruit.
Fruit and granola. Okay, fruit and granola. Okay, still gluten-free. Got some gluten-free granola in there. Okay, fruit's gluten-free. All right, so then snack. What's a gluten-free snack? Larabar, okay. That's actually a little bit better one. I would say one that actually says gluten-free on it. So maybe like oats, Megabar.
That's my love language.
It's actually one of the reasons why I brought it.
I
And lunch.
know. Caesar salad.
Ah, there we go. Caesar salad. But not just the Caesar salad. Let's go Whole Foods Caesar salad. Right? They've got a pretty good Caesar salad, I've been told.
No croutons.
Well, I mean, they have gluten-free croutons, I'm
Oh, they
sure.
do?
I don't know. All right, so we've got a Whole Foods Caesar salad here. All right, and snack here. Let's say they did good. So we're gonna go with a piece of fruit, right? So an apple. I can't spell apple. All right, dinner. It's Friday.
Pizza.
Yeah, gluten-free pizza. They've got that everywhere. Gluten pizza, right? All right, now let's break this down and see if we have any differences from a gluten-free diet to an actual, from what the American Western diet was, right? Okay? What do we got here? That's mainly protein if we were going with the eggs and bacon route, so we're pretty solid there on the protein. If we went with the yogurt, fruit, and granola, which is pretty typical, especially if it's very fast, if they're needing something quick, right? Depending on the type of yogurt, if you're going with Greek, you're going to have a better choice, so it's going to be a little bit more protein, okay? But still, it's a dairy, so it's going to have your triple thing. It's going to have fats, carbohydrates, and protein, okay? Fruit, that's also carbs, all right? Granola, more carbs, all right? Pass these around for breakfast. So, GF. I think this one even, well, it didn't say GF, but you go, that's probably not going to be any good after just what. All right, so have we changed much in this? No, because we've got carbs, more carbs, and then a little bit of protein in here, right? If we went with the yogurt route. We're going with the eggs and bacon, we're probably pretty solid, all right? Snack, Larabar or Oats Megabar. It's got whey protein in it, which is good, okay? So we're actually at least getting some protein, okay? But we're still sitting high on the carbs, okay? Versus, I mean, actually this one's pretty solid as far as like balanced at least, all right? But you have to look at the type of carbs and we'll talk about that in a second, okay? All right, lunch, we're at Whole Foods, okay? We've got a nice Caesar salad, okay? We've got good carbs from the actual romaine lettuce. All right, but then once we add the Caesar dressing, and we've got we'll put some chicken on there too, so we have protein, right? So once we add the Caesar dressing, that's when we start to get into the bad fats and the bad carbohydrates, okay? Maybe a little bit of switching around here depending on how much chicken you put in here, but we're still kind of sitting in that same category, all right? Apple, all carbs, okay? But better because it's a natural source, okay? GF pizza, what do we got here? Probably not even a whole lot of that, right? Depending on what kind of pizza you got, or what kind of toppings you got.
Meat lovers.
If we got some, yeah, definitely. But either way, it's a lot of carbohydrates, all right? Now, what I'm getting with that at this, guys, is what we're putting in our bodies, okay? Even if it's the typical Western diet, okay, or if it's a gluten-free, is we're not putting in nutrient-dense foods, okay? So what the goal is, well, not necessarily the goal, but all of these are going to be low nutrient, high calorie. Okay? Because you're loaded with different higher carbohydrates, they're going to have more of the calorie, okay, and lower of the nutrients. Okay? So what we're trying to shift is that, all right, of it being the other way around, high calorie or high nutrient, high or low calorie. Okay, and that naturally happens by just shifting kind of how we eat. All right. Also, let's get into the actual bad portions of what these are actually made up of. Okay, so we talked about the different carbohydrates. So what are carbohydrates primarily made up of? Who says it on there? Sugars, exactly, sugars. Okay, so we've got carbs here. All right, that's primarily what, at least for the most part, all of the carbohydrates that you have in here are going to have in them. Okay, especially if they're making them gluten-free, because they have to make them taste yummy, right? So they have to add either sweeteners, okay, or some form of sugar. Okay, and that can come in many different ways. Okay, so if you look at the label, a lot of times it can even be disguised with like agave nectar is still a sugar. You know, even though it's a better sugar, it's still a sugar. Okay, your body doesn't know that if I'm having, you know, table sugar or agave nectar, it processes it the same. Okay. Then some other things that we have in here, depending on the type of food, if it's processed, okay, it's going to have a lot of bad fats. Okay. So a lot of the bad fats are going to be like vegetable oil. Okay, you'll even see like canola oil, which actually used to be a decent oil until they started manufacturing in a mass production. Okay, and then they started adding in bad oils. Okay, and you'll actually see that a lot with even some of your good olive oils. Okay, so what are some other bad fats here? One of the number one that everyone's freaked out about. What's that?
Soybean oil.
Soybean oil. Okay, that's kind of one that's like hidden in there. But also, you know, you got your trans fats, basically, which is just a mixture of all these different things. It's just a processed fat. Okay. And then lastly, if you're not on a gluten-free diet, the processed foods are going to be loaded with gluten. Okay. And then, does everybody understand what actually gluten is?
Some form of wheat.
So it's a protein, actually. It's a protein that they add to foods and now actually crops. Initially, when they add it to foods, it's an emulsifying agent, basically, or a bonding agent. Okay. And then now what they're doing is they're adding into like wheat fields and things so that they can mass produce them. So now instead of even getting it from just a processed piece of bread, now we're getting it directly from the source. Okay. They come in different types of like names, and then one of them being divided in. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to see this on a label. I have actually seen it. It's pretty. I've actually seen like a flour that says high gluten flour or something like that. But you're not going to see this on a label anywhere. You just have to know that if it's processed and it has a list, especially if you're looking at something like the box of cereal and has a list of just ingredients and some things you don't even know, and more likely it has some form of gluten in it, okay, or that protein. All right. So the dangers of these things, okay. Having high sugars in your diet are making you more prone to disease in the long run, okay? Because if you're constantly going up and down of your blood sugar spiking and then dropping, things like that, that's that lag that you have during the day, right? Right after you eat something, you just had a nice Subway sandwich or something, and right after, like an hour later, you're like, man, why am I so tired? It's all the carbohydrates are making basically your sugar spiked, or your blood sugar spiked because of all the carbohydrates, and then it plummeted because your insulin levels weren't able to balance it out. Okay, I'm not going to get all biochemistry on you guys, but that's it in a nutshell. Okay, it does all kinds of other things in your body. It also sugar basically it doesn't allow your body to know, or it messes with hormones. So you will also have cravings. If the more sugar you have in your body, you'll start to have more cravings. Okay. It's actually, this and caffeine are the two #1 addictive things in our diets we don't even know, right? Especially sugar. Because caffeine is kind of one of those things where you know that you're having it, right? Like, unless you're just eating a bunch of chocolate and you don't realize that chocolate actually has some caffeine in it, which also has a lot of sugar, too. But, so this is the #1 because it's added to almost everything. That makes it so addicting to us, okay? Like I said, this constant ingestion of sugars can lead to all kinds of different metabolic diseases, okay? One being diabetes, all right? Bad fats, okay? These things can lead to cardiovascular disease, okay? Any kind of high cholesterol issues, and then the same thing moving towards that just kind of disease state, okay? Gluten Actually, I mean, as far as like people having sensitivity to it or actually having like a gluten allergy, only about 3% of the American population are actually celiacs. And then another 32% actually show actual symptoms of actual sensitivity, okay? Now what that means is that like immediately after you eat it, you feel it. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because you've never been tested positive for gluten being sensitive to it, doesn't necessarily mean it's not doing anything internally to your body, okay? The gluten protein, just to give you a nutshell, what it actually does in the body is it attaches to your stomach lining and it makes it very permeable. So what ends up happening is you get small little holes in your stomach gut. So when food enters in there, it'll start to enter into your bloodstream, okay, and that's what they consider leaky gut syndrome, okay? Now, with that being said, if that happens, what that does is it causes all kinds of issues in your body, okay? One being joint issues, allergies. You ever heard of the whole, if you've lived in Austin long enough, you'll get allergies? Right? Okay. Well, a lot of people say that. All right. Well, I've been here quite a while, and not to say that I have the most perfect diet, but I haven't necessarily contracted any new allergies that I can know of. Okay. This thing can cause all kinds of problems. Mainly a higher amount of inflammation, which all of these do. To the body. They're all pro-inflammatories to the body, okay? It is you actually have a natural inflammation response to the body as soon as you eat, okay? But the amount of that inflammation is what basically you control by what you eat, okay? This, by negative inflammation, puts you in a disease state. Does that make sense? So disease can only live in inflammation, okay? So if we're constantly ingesting ourselves with things like this, then we're pushing ourselves closer and closer to a disease state. Make sense? All right. So, any questions on what we just talked about? I know it's 6 or 7 now, but we'll get you guys pepped up. All right, let's talk about some good stuff now. All right, tell me what all you guys eat, right? So I know you guys got a perfect diet here. So what do we got? What's breakfast? What's breakfast looks like?
Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs. What's that?
Hash with eggs.
Hash with eggs. So what kind of hash?
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato. Sounds good. Delicious. Okay, so we'll say eggs
Avocados.
and bacon. Oh, here we go.
I won't
You
lie.
guys are just bored with that little story I just told you, right? Avocado.
I won't
and
lie. I
then
have a
hash.
bagel every once in a while.
Sweet potato. What's that?
Said I won't lie. I have a bagel every once in a while.
Okay, bagel would put you in that what state?
I know.
Was it gluten free?
No, gluten-free.
GF oats. All
I'm
right.
not
We'll put those on a different part
It's
here in
not
a second,
normal.
but
I'm
not
just
necessarily
telling
bad. Okay, I'm just putting those not in the category just yet. Okay, because we will move you guys towards that in the challenge where you're actually able to have the good carbohydrates. Okay, we'll talk more about that in the second workshop as far as like the nutrient timing and when to have it. Okay. All right. Snack. What do we have for our snack?
Did you say good things?
Yeah, good things.
Oh,
Typical
we're
good
just
things.
saying, okay, so today I had an apple with almond butter.
Ooh, you've done one of my challenges.
Oh, gold star. Some almonds.
And almond butter.
Yeah.
Okay, or even or just almond, right? So, hey, there you go. All right, lunch. See, you guys should have spoke up earlier. That would have been perfect for a little snack, man.
I don't want to tell you what I had for lunch.
Snap Kitchen. What's in Snap Kitchen? What do we got?
Really good cauliflower and chicken.
Chicken masala.
Naked chicken.
Ah, we're good.
Delicious.
Naked chicken. I eat that one. It's good. Just see if you guys have never been there.
Showing me up.
That has chicken, and then it has roasted cauliflower. I'm not going to spell that. I usually have to do a spell check for that. I might have gotten it. Yeah?
Yeah, okay, Aaron. I slow roasted a pork butt and wrapped it in lettuce wraps with my homemade salsa.
Boom!
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, so that's pretty good lunch right there. Salad. You got protein and a good carbohydrate, which being a vegetable. Okay. Snack. Another snack. I mean, if you're gonna have a snack. Lar
Sorry.
bar.
That's my go-to.
Okay. Dinner.
A piece of fish and broccoli or
Okay. So we'll say salmon. Okay. And then some broccoli.
Chicken nuggets that are homemade.
Chicken nuggets that are homemade. Yeah, I've
The
made
crushed
those.
almonds
Yeah.
and
The almond flour. They're actually
not
pretty
even
good.
almond flour even.
Or-
Crushed almonds are so delicious.
Or we'll just
You bake them.
we'll label them paleo
Yeah.
chicken
They're
nuggets.
so easy.
Trying to abbreviate that.
So can you do brown rice, or is that?
You will
on
eventually.
that list?
You will, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit as far as like moving forward towards the challenge. Okay. So salad right here. All right, we've got a very high nutrient, low calorie diet. Okay, even with adding good fats in there. Okay, that's going to be something that's the highest in the calorie count, but it's good fats. Okay, but if you add, take a look at what you have here and here. Okay, which is a good carbohydrate. That fat is the highest calorie thing there. All right, we're no longer in that higher carbs where it's just going to be tons and tons of calories. Okay, apple, we've got a good carbohydrate, but we've balanced it out with our fat. Okay, just a side note, and it says it in the guidelines. Eating a fat with meal, okay, also helps with the insulin spike. Okay, so it helps kind of control your blood sugar from spiking. All right, so if you're just going to have something that is just a higher in carbohydrate thing, try to balance it out with having a fat. Okay, or even a protein really. It basically just slows your blood sugar spike. Okay. Snap Kitchen, we're salad here. It's probably been cooked in pretty decent oil, hopefully. Okay, I haven't looked at the oil that's on it.
I usually use grapeseed.
Grapeseed, okay, that's a better one. And then roasted cauliflower, so we're still low calorie, high nutrient on that. Okay, lots of protein here, a little bit of carbohydrates. What I wanted to pass around real quick to you guys is so that you can see the difference and kind of what we did there. Oh man, I even brought GF pasta. I'm sure you guys have looked at this stuff before, but now you can actually look at the nutritional facts on this. How much an entire bag of vegetables is, like calorie-wise and carbohydrate-wise, versus like 1 cup of cereal, right? That whole bag of I think it's the cauliflower, broccoli, and carrot mix is 100 calories if you ate the whole bag, which congratulations if you did that. But it only yields 100 calories, and it's maybe, I think, 10 carbohydrates, and it's all fibrous, so it's not sugar, basically, okay? Same thing with that bag of spinach. It's like 1 serving.
30.
Yeah, it's 30 calories. I mean, so the biggest thing is here, guys, is making sure you're eating as much vegetables and good fruits as possible, okay? All right, everyone good on this? Okay, so the benefits of this style of eating, right? So we talked about the negatives of the other stuff. It was pro-inflammatory, right? So eating this way is going to reduce, or it's going to be basically an anti-inflammatory style, okay, of eating. All right, and the benefits of these things is better recovery. Biggest thing here on the better recovery is your body's no longer inflamed, right? So when it's not inflamed, it's able to operate the way it's supposed to. It's the same thing as if someone punched, my brothers used to give me frogs in my leg and just sit there, right? So it disabled my leg for a week or so, right? That's an inflammatory response to my body, right? Like it swelled up and it's trying to heal itself. That's the same thing. Your body thinks it's constantly trying to heal itself, okay? Now if we take that inflammatory or the inflammation out of it, we can actually recover a lot faster, okay? We'll sleep better. These all go hand in hand, okay? You're going to reduce, obviously, risk of disease, okay? What are some other ones that we talked about where that were negatives? Allergies, right? So we're going to kind of reduce some allergies. All right, and then kind of along with recovery, better joint health. The more you clean up your diet, they've actually had studies and shown that a cleaner way of eating has helped people with ADHD, Alzheimer's disease even. It just helps with better cognitive thought, just eating cleaner, okay? Because your body's not fighting off all that junk that we put in with processed foods, okay?
And anxiety, better for your anxiety.
Yes, kind of falls in that yeah, exactly. But yeah, it definitely does help with anxiety and like anything that like stress. It reduces the stress in your body, which in turn reduces stress in life. You know, but all of these things are going to kind of tie in together and make quality of life better. Okay. All right. Any questions, guys?
Are you going to talk about alcohol?
We're going to talk about it in a second. I'm going to get to the challenge. Jeez.
And what does dairy do to your body? Is that considered fat and
So
a carb?
I'm going to talk about that a little bit here in a second
Okay.
with the challenge.
Okay.
It's so basically if you're going to have a dairy, it's a 3 combo, right? It has protein, carbohydrate, and fat. What you're trying, the biggest issue with dairy is the lactose that's in it. Okay, and then anytime it's pasteurized, it's kind of broken down, so it's like lower quality, basically. So if you're going to have, like, for instance, milk, if you just want to drink straight milk, okay, the better quality milks are going to be something that's more less pasteurized, almost to the point where like raw milk. Okay, not that I'm telling you guys need to go out to farms and milk cows and stuff, but I'm just but those are just like your healthier ones, like ones that are just less messed with and less tampered with. Okay. But still, what's going to happen with the challenge is the reason I have the 3 weeks of strict is because you don't actually know if you are allergic to these certain things. Okay, you don't know if you have a gluten sensitivity, or you don't know if you have a dairy sensitivity or lactose sensitivity. Okay, so all these things will kind of filter out within those 3 weeks, and then the following weeks we add those back in, and it's kind of a tool for you to pay attention to your body of what you can actually handle and what you deal better with. Okay, but yeah, good question. Did I answer your question? Okay. All right, so I want to get into supplementation real quick, and then we'll get into the challenge. Okay, I don't want to keep you guys too long. So some good supplements. Okay, essential supplements, especially for people that are active. Okay, one's going to be kind of a whey protein. Okay, and this is just something post-workout. You know, something that you can, or even really, I mean, if you think about it, if you have a busy lifestyle, something you can get some good nutrition in very quickly. Okay. Next is going to be fish oil. Okay. Although we're cleaning up our diet and reducing some of those bad fats in there, we're still not getting enough of the omega-3. Okay. Omega-3 is that powerhouse of the anti-inflammatory. Okay. We want to try to balance out those good with bad fats. Okay. And fish oil being one of them. Fish oil is going to help you with, it's going to help primarily with cardiovascular health. It's been shown with cognitive thought. It's also good for joint health. Did I say cardiovascular? Yes. Okay. So those are just some 3 main ones. Okay. Then a good probiotic. That's just going to help with digestion. Okay. Especially the more you get into like eating more vegetables, okay, those are a lot more fibrous, okay. Having a good probiotic in there is going to help you kind of digest those foods without having the bloating or the gassy feeling, okay. Just gives your stomach kind of a break, all right. Those are the main ones that you're really looking for. Other than that, like, you know, any other supplements taking, you don't necessarily need, okay. Unless you're a higher performance athlete, you can start to get into some of the other stuff of like creatine, branched chain amino acids, things like that. Okay? Any questions on supplementation? I can give you guys a recommendation. The recommended dose is anywhere from 3 to 5 grams of EPA and DHA daily. Okay, that's pretty challenging to get unless you find a very pure source. Okay, not to pump this brand, but Stronger, Faster, Healthier makes a good pure source if you can handle the liquid. Another brand that's not necessarily liquid form would be Pure Pharma, and you can order that. It's in tablet form if that's something that you're looking to go for. Okay. Any questions here? Probiotics, you're just looking for like as many bacteria, good bacteria as you can find. I think it's like 1 million or something like that. All right.
So you have a probiotic every day?
I have a probiotic every day.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything to avoid with those?
What's that?
Is there anything to avoid with those?
The only time that you might have run into any complications with the probiotic is if you're taking any kind of medication. Okay.
Just wondering how sugar and that
What, in probiotics?
Yeah.
No, the pill form, preferably.
Pill
Pill form, preferably. Yes.
And with the meal, so you don't get nauseous?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. They have probiotics like, I think even one of the, isn't Danica Patrick, like, doesn't she promote one? It's like active something. I don't know. But yeah, pill form preferably on this. Until later on when I let you guys add in a little bit of dairy, like Greek yogurt, which is a good natural probiotic. Okay?
And the whey protein is like in a shake?
Yes, yeah. So these are good for, especially if you guys travel, okay, whey protein, travel or just an athlete in general, okay, you're going to need that for post-recovery, post-workout recovery, and if you are on the go and you need something quick, all right? And we'll get into some other stuff too, like via emails and things on tips, as far as like going into restaurants, if you know you're going to have the temptation to eat chips and salsa or something, have a shake prior. It works, trust me. Have a shake prior, it just fills your stomach, you're not hungry, and when you're waiting on your food, okay? But it's just something good to have while you're doing this, okay? Now, if you are eating quite a bit of fish, you know, do you necessarily need this? I would still recommend it, yes, okay? You should only be having about no more than 3 servings of fish a day or a week. And mostly just because like the quality of fish sometimes isn't necessarily always that great, so I still recommend a good fish oil. Okay? Any other questions on supplements? All right, so let's talk about the challenge. All right, so first 3 weeks, strict. Okay? And that is what I call a detox, okay? Depending upon how your diet was prior to the challenge is what you will feel during the detox, okay? It's just like any kind of addict coming off something, okay? Number one being sugar is what you guys will feel a lag period from, okay? You're gonna feel cravings or feel like you actually need that stuff, you need to have it. The biggest thing I would recommend, guys, is do your best to stay as strict as you can during those 3 weeks, okay? Because you'll get the most benefit out of it later on when you start to add in some of those fun, good foods, okay? This part here, throughout the whole process, you guys are going to be logging and things like that. Did everyone get, I know not everybody, or some people are here that didn't, did everyone get my email? I sent it last night
With the
packet.
yeah.
Confirm that they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's sent to you.
Okay, either way. But first 3 weeks are strict throughout the whole process. I'm going to be tracking you guys' logs on Google Docs. Okay, you get to see everybody else's food as well, which is good because you'll be able to like take recipes that someone is like making, okay, and then kind of adding into your own stuff. All right, not to mention pumping everybody up, giving some support, things like that. This is more. I'm going to try to make it as much of a team event as you can. Okay, as much social as you can. Just like the next workshop, I'd like for us to get together and have more of a potluck, and then we'll just socialize and talk a little bit about what I want to do, or what the nutrient timing stuff, versus making it more of a lecture style thing, okay? That, and you guys get an opportunity to actually make something that you really liked, that you found, okay, of a good recipe while you're doing the challenge, all right? Any questions on the first 3 weeks of strict? There'll be specific guidelines sent out on that, okay? Think about it, really all it is protein, okay, good lean meats, good fats, okay, and veggies and some fruits, okay? When I say some fruits, the reason fruits are limited is because they are still high in sugar, okay? And not to mention, there are fruits out there that just lack in nutrients. So trying to have the fruits that are the highest in nutrients, okay? Yes?
Isn't avocado generally?
Yeah, it is. So yes, it is considered a fruit. Avocado is considered a fruit, but what its composition is primarily fat.
Right,
Go.
sorry, the question was actually
Sorry.
good fats other than avocados.
Good fats other than avocado? Okay, good fats. Alright, you've got avocado. Alright, good oils are going to be coconut oil, olive oil, and this can be, you can even have olives as well. Okay, just have to be careful with some of the sodium that's in it. Alright, so avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, and nuts and seeds. Now, you can also have things like algae, okay? Kind of, it's not a, it's a fat, but it's like one of those things that's kind of a supplement for fish oil, okay? Some people can't handle the fish oil, so it's algae or hemp oil is something that they add in to get good omega-3s versus having the fish oil, okay? If you don't like the fishier taste. Good on the good fats? Okay. I give, in the packet, there is a whole list of like things that are good fats, okay? I try to set you guys up for, yeah.
I noticed, and I didn't read through the whole packet, but like meal one.
First off, it's an example, and I
Okay.
gave it's a very detailed out.
Yeah.
Basically, if you think about it, it's a saute. So all it is it's kind of like an omelet.
Okay. Oh well, I mean the dinner. I think it was like 3 cups of broccoli or something. That seems like an enormous amount of broccoli.
Yeah, but if you actually have ever measured cups out, the cup of broccoli out, they come in big stalks. So
Yeah.
I mean, it literally, if you have a big stalk of broccoli, it's probably 3 big stalks of broccoli.
Okay.
So I mean, it really isn't that much when you think about it.
Okay.
And what I was trying, because that whole meal plan has actually been portioned out as far as macros and calories.
Mhm.
What I was trying to show is that that meal is basically almost like you're getting still less calories and the carbohydrates are still low. Okay. Yes.
On the measurement issue, are we talking about cooked or fresh?
Preferably cooked, especially your vegetables. Okay, it's going to reduce some of the gut issues that you're going to have. Okay, eating raw vegetables are going to increase some of the like gassiness in your stomach. Okay, so cooked preferably. All right. No, you still will get good nutrients from raw, but cooking them or saute them first off is going to be better flavor, and not to mention you release some of the good like nutrients in it when you're steam them and things like that. Okay. All right. Following that, so during this whole process, guys, like I said, we're tracking. I am going to send out weekly articles. I know you guys all have busy lifestyles, okay, but the whole part of this is for you guys to learn, all right? Not just the workshop. Some of these articles are things that, have either are brand new to come out or something that is just always constantly asked that I'm asked and that I want you guys to all know. The articles, some of them are long, some are not. If you want, you can save them to the weekend to where you're having your coffee in the morning or whatever, okay? But I do recommend you guys read them because they are for your benefit, okay? Because not to mention, remember, the whole goal of this, guys, is so that you, for longevity, okay? To push past the 8 weeks and be able to carry this on for a lifetime, all right? And then help others, help friends and family, okay?
So speaking of coffee, can we have almond milk in our coffee?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Is there a portion or how is it? I mean,
That's, depending on what I would recommend getting an unsweetened almond milk.
right.
But,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't
But you
go
just
crazy.
can't do milk.
Yeah, just don't do milk for
Dairy.
that, yeah.
Okay.
Almond or coconut milk.
Okay.
And then, try out some more organic coffee beans that have good flavor to them, because you might be surprised you might end up liking black coffee. I mean, there's some really awesome Austin brands that have like the pecan. That's amazing. I think it's called Independence Pecan. Backyard Pecan is like one of the best coffees I've ever had, in my opinion, but the best
Okay.
coffees I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're allowed to have coffee. You're allowed to have green teas. Just stay away from the obvious stuff of sodas and things like that. Start to get weird cravings. Go to like a sparkling water. Okay, LaCroix has a ton of flavors that you can get. Okay, keep that as like your treat or something like that. You know, in the evening. You know what I'm saying? If you need like something that's somewhat sweet, that has a little bit of a sweet flavor. They have coconut flavors. I mean, you go to Target, they have like cherry lime and all kinds of stuff. The sky's the limits when it comes to sparkling waters. There's tons of them out there, as long as they're not added like sugars and dyes and stuff. Okay?
Drink them out of a wine glass.
There you go. See? Hey, whatever makes you feel better about it, that's what it is. All right. Every week thereafter, I'm going to add one or two. Actually, it's going to be probably a little bit more towards the end. But I'm going to be adding in higher starch items. Okay. Along with that, I'm going to send out an article that talks about how to actually add those higher carbohydrate items in when you're eating this way. Okay. All of these higher starch items are going to be clean. Okay, they're not going to be processed, so you might have to actually go to like different stores and find ones that are not going to be processed, because you'd be surprised, even the ones that are in containers at like Whole Foods and H-E-B, they make them seem like there's nothing tampered, they're not like processed, but just look at the list of ingredients on there, and if it's not one ingredient like whole grain or brown rice, it's not it's not good. Okay. With that, you're just going to be adding it in slowly. I don't want you to just pump yourself full of all these things because you're going to have you're going to have a negative response to it. Okay. Every 2 weeks, I am going to be checking in individually with you guys. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do a sheet, like a survey type thing, where you guys fill out and then I look over and then we talk. Okay. But it's basically it's more of an accountability thing to keep you specifically on track and to see if I need to work more individually with you to help, okay? But it's basically just to keep you guys moving along smoothly, okay? And also it's a good way for you to give me feedback of like you suck or you're weird, things like that, okay? So bi-weekly check-ins, and then on like I said, the workshop on the 4th week. And then the ends in November. Okay, but this week, I need to have body compositions and initial counselings with you guys by the end of next week. Okay, so the challenge actually starts next Monday. Okay, and then I need to at least meet with you guys once to get body assessment and to talk a little bit about if you have any questions of the packet and things like that. Okay.
So how do we do that?
What's that? I'm going to send out a list of times of when I'm going to be here. Okay, and if there's anything specific you guys need to as far as work with that, then we'll work individually together on it. Okay. With the assessments, okay, I'm going to do calibrations, measurements, and I'm going to do photos. Okay. So if you're going to be if you have any being uncomfortable being in your skippies, okay. That's not a problem. I can get a female to do it, okay, or even another male if you don't feel comfortable with that, okay. So, but it's preferably in swimsuit for men or tight underwear, okay. And then for women, it's the same thing, like a 2-piece bikini or underwear. It's basically this is the easiest, the best measurable task you can have. I promise. I know it seems weird, but it is the best measurable task you can have because you see yourself every single day. And you don't know that you're making that progress until you actually see side by side. This is when I started, this is when I am. Make sense? Okay. The measurements are good as well, but I think it really shows because a lot of you guys work out, you're going to be gaining muscle. Okay. It'll really show when you actually see a photo of the beginning and the end. All right. Any questions for me, guys? We talked about today.
Payment?
What's that?
Payment?
Payments through Move. I believe
I've already charged you all that.
Jared handled that stuff.
If that's okay.
But I didn't really get to meet individually, guys. What was your name for you?
I'm Megan.
Megan?
Sorry, I forgot to pick up.
No, you're good. I apologize. I kept you a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's it, guys. You're more welcome to stick around and ask me specific questions. That was a general base of a workshop. So thanks for coming. I look forward to working with all you guys.
Thank you. I got to head out.